It's the iPhone 12. Just kidding. This is the old iPhone 5S, but if you like this design aesthetic, boy, are you going to be excited about the new iPhone 12 and 12 Pro. Welcome to my first look of the iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro, two 6.1-inch 5G phones from Apple. And we're just going to walk through some of the highlights and exciting new features, and of course, this new yet familiar design. Let's start with the body. So obviously Apple has redesigned the iPhone. So now we're back to flat edges, a design that is obviously familiar to you if you ever had like an iPhone 5S or 4 or 4S. It's got the flat edges, but there are distinct differences between the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12. Aside from the camera array, because you can see that there's 3 cameras here and there's 2 cameras here, there's also a difference here on the body. So the iPhone 12 Pro has a stainless steel body and it's shiny around the edges. You can see here. So that's stainless steel construction. And the iPhone 12 is aluminum and it's a matte finish and on the edges, and the back of the iPhone 12 Pro is matte, the back of the iPhone 12 is shiny, the edges of the iPhone 12 Pro are shiny, the edges of the iPhone 12 are matte. Got that? Another big change here is on top of the Super Retina XDR display, that's an OLED display that is across all of the iPhone 12, the iPhone 12 mini, the iPhone 12, the iPhone 12 Pro, and the iPhone 12 Pro Max. On top of that is something called ceramic shield. So that's like the new glass cover, except it's not actually purely glass. So what they've done here is it's a new material that they developed with Corning, and it has elements of glass and it has ceramic crystals in it. So it's basically called like glass ceramic, but theoretically 4 times stronger than previous iPhone covers. So the Super Retina XDR display that you get across all of these devices has a 2,000,000:1 contrast ratio, which means that the blacks are going to be darker than ever. So you've got brilliant colors, more colors than ever. Let's spend a second talking about the 5G. So obviously, all of these phones, all of these iPhone 12s are 5G. Apple's put more bands of coverage, so for different kinds of 5G, more antennas in here than most other 5G supporting phones have, which means that depending on where you are, it's going to support it. What's interesting is that at least for one of the antennas, which is the most powerful one, the millimeter wave antenna, which is a more powerful signal, but it is it's somewhat it's weaker as well, so it doesn't go as far and it doesn't go through as many things. Like it doesn't really pass through walls or cement or brick. But Apple has put, there's a cutout here, so you can see it right there. That is for the millimeter wave 5G radio. Again, there are 30 regions, 100 different carriers that are supporting 5G right now, but you still might not find it in your area. The important thing to know, though, is that there's basically sort of a smart band control in here. So if you don't need 5G for whatever you're doing, the phone will switch down to LTE, which is going to save you. If you're paying for data, it's going to save you, but it's also going to, more importantly, it's going to save you on battery life. Inside all of the iPhone 12s is the new A14 Bionic Apple mobile processor. This is a 5-nanometer processor, which means that it is not just more powerful, but it's more energy efficient, which is going to be important because these are 5G phones, so you want more energy efficient. But it's also fast. This is the most powerful CPU, mobile CPU that Apple has ever made, and the numbers, the benchmark numbers, pretty much bear that out. There isn't going to be much that you can't do on one of these devices. Let's talk about the cameras. So on the iPhone 12, we have 2 cameras. We have a wide and an ultra wide. The wide has an f 1.6 aperture, which means it is the fastest one that Apple has ever produced for any of its iPhones. Why do you care about a fast aperture? It means that it's going to be better at capturing light, especially for low light situations. So you've got that. You've got the ultra wide camera, which is 120 degrees. That is not a change from the previous wide angle, but it still looks like, in early tests, it looked like, takes good photos, nice wide angle photos. The camera array on the iPhone 12 Pro, we have 3 cameras and 1 sensor. So let's talk about the 3 cameras. We have the wide, which is the same wide camera, 12 megapixel wide camera you have on the iPhone 12. We have the ultra wide with the 120 degree field of view, also 12 megapixels. And we have the 2x telephoto lens. Now, Apple had talked about how the iPhone has a 4x telephoto range. What does that actually mean? What that means is they're talking about the range from wide. So when you're doing it, let's show you. The range from wide, right, to standard wide 12 megapixel to, get ready to get close, to 2x optical zoom. So that's a 4x range. You're going 2 back when you go to the, when you go to the wide, and 2 up when you go to the zoom. But I do wish that Apple had gone further with the telephoto. I was hoping for 4x or 5x optical zoom. Not getting that yet. Let's take a look at some of the photos I've taken with the iPhone 12 Pro so far. This is a portrait mode shot. I haven't done anything with it. There's another one, sad face lens. So this is with the ultra wide camera, and this is with the telephoto. And this is with the standard wide camera. In addition to the 3 cameras, we have the light detection and ranging sensor, which is called a LiDAR sensor. What's so important about the LiDAR sensor is that it gives a 3D map of the area. So that's going to have a huge impact on, obviously, augmented reality, but it's also going to help with low light performance, the low light camera. So it's low light photography, I should say. The cameras on the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro are also using Apple's new Deep Fusion, which is sort of a pixel-by-pixel analysis of photos to make the best of them. And it uses the powerful A14 Bionics neural processor. So the idea is that your photos are just going to be that much better. So what do we have here? We have the original iPhone 11 Pro, and we have the brand new iPhone 12 Pro. What's interesting here is that the 12 Pro has a 6.1 inch display. The 11 Pro had a 5.8 inch display, and yet they're essentially the same size. The 12 Pro is slightly taller, but it's not much bigger, and yet the screen is that much larger. So the design, the new squared off design, maybe cutting down on the bezel just a little bit has enabled that change. And here we have the iPhone 12 and the original iPhone 11, and you'll notice that the brand new iPhone 12 is a little bit smaller than the iPhone 11, and yet, yes, we have a 6.1 inch display here and a 6.1 inch display here. So they're really managing a number of efficiencies with this new design. The other big change on the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro is the new MagSafe wireless charging system. So what have they done? Apple has taken the charging coil, which is in here, and surrounded it with magnets. What does that mean? So if you have the new Apple MagSafe charger, you can just snap it right on the back there. It automatically aligns, makes that little sound when it starts to charge, and this is a very strong magnet, as you can see. That's not coming off. And one of the other things that's providing for is a whole new set of accessories. So there's new cases. Apple's selling these MagSafe cases, and you can see, and they've actually got built-in magnets, so they slip on, they pop on like that, and you can still use the MagSafe charger on the back, and it holds on just as well. And they're selling, there's going to be like there's a wallet accessory you can slap right on the back of this. Pop sockets are going to work, specially made pop sockets are going to work on the back of this. But the real benefit of the MagSafe charging is that no longer do you have to worry about, oh, did I put the phone on the charger in the right way? It snaps right into position every time. And you could even still use the phone while you're charging, which is something you couldn't do with the wireless charger before. The wireless charging on these devices still works with all your Qi-based wireless chargers. By the way, Apple's MagSafe charger costs $39. Both the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro are IP68 rated, which means they're dust and water resistant. But in a first, these two devices can be in up to 6 meters of water for 30 minutes and survive. Let's drop them in water. The iPhone 12 starts at $699 for 64 gigabytes of storage. The iPhone 12 Pro starts at $999 for 128 gigabytes of storage. And they also come in some very pretty colors. The iPhone 12 comes in white, black, blue, green, and product red. The iPhone 12 Pro comes in graphite, gold, silver, and Pacific blue. So pretty. One other important change with the iPhone 12, 12 Pro, 12 Mini, 12 Pro Max, all of them, is that, well, the boxes are smaller. Why are the boxes smaller? Apple is no longer shipping the charging adapter or earpods with their iPhones. So it saves on packaging for certain, saves on size, shipping weight, all of that. But maybe you think you're getting a little bit less for your money. What they do come with, all of them, is a USB-C to Lightning cable. Some first look thoughts about the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro. I didn't know how much I had missed this particular design until I held the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro in my hands. It is both fresh, new, and yet familiar. They've done a great job of using the screen real estate. I'm very excited about this new ceramic shield to see whether or not that's stronger. I'm not going to drop these things, but if I happen to, what I'm actually more interested in is to see if the ceramic shield is better at resisting scratches, because that's really what happens to my iPhones. I get them all scratched up somehow. They're clearly powerful phones. The A14 Bionic is Apple's best CPU. I just had an experience with it on the new Apple iPad Air. The cameras look great. But I really want to get a chance to try out things like night mode with time lapse and night mode with portrait mode. So you're doing these incredible low light photography tricks with both the new cameras and the new processor behind it. So there's a lot to try out here, but really pretty looking devices, and I'm looking forward to spending some quality time with the Apple iPhone 12 and 12 Pro.